Hello again, everybody. This is Dan Clouser, and welcome back to the Journey of My Mother's Son podcast. Today I'm joined with Jimmy Obregon, who is a disciple in the program here at the Dream Center in Beaumont, Texas, the Dream Center of Southeast Texas officially. Sandy and I were here last September, and we're back now till the end of the year. Jimmy, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, Dan.
No problem. So I just wanted to, when we were here last September, I did a podcast with Pastor Mike. And he and I were talking, and I said, I think I'd like to get a perspective of some of the guys that are here going through the program, um, you know, have an opportunity to tell some of their stories, how you guys got here, um, what the program's done for you, what you're looking forward to doing once you get out. And you weren't here last September. You actually came in January, so we missed you. But we've gotten to an opportunity to know you here. We were jamming last night, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So one thing I want to say about Jimmy is he's an amazing musician, plays a whole bunch of instruments, but that's a different story. We might talk about that a little bit later, but had fun doing that with you last night. But so you got here last January. You'll be graduating here real soon.
Yes, sir, about February.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about what got you here. How did Jimmy end up in the Dream Center?
Well, I had gotten out of prison in October 23rd, 2020, and it wasn't too long until I relapsed. It was about 2 weeks. I had a bunch of unaddressed emotions. My father had passed that February, and I got home and I thought that I was ready, but that wasn't the case. I got hit with the emotions that I hadn't been dealing with, and it just, it overtook me, and I started drinking. I picked up the bottle, and I ended up here through Dr. Henry Holland. He's a bishop at Ecclesia in Port Arthur, and through my mom reaching out to him in the church, I was able to come into the discipleship program. It was a faith-based recovery, and I didn't want to do it. I'd been gone since 2018, and another year I was like, Lord have mercy, and I didn't want to, but I didn't have no choice, and I got here, and I'm close to graduating, thank God.
Yeah.
So
You said before we started recording, and you just said again now, you didn't want to come here, but um, your family kind of pretty much gave you an ultimatum, I guess.
yeah,
So
that or be homeless, so
so it was
choice.
like, okay. And then you also had mentioned that it took a while for your wife to heal
All right,
from
yes, sir.
what you had put her through your addiction and everything. Um, Now that you guys are in a better spot, how much does that help you in continuing this journey of recovery?
This journey of recovery, I mean, it's hard, but it is worth it. I've been able to get my family back, and it's the beauty of it. Like we were talking, it was nothing that I could say, nothing that I could do by my own actions, but through God and seeking Him out, is what I've been able to get. He gives us a promise of restoration, and I've seen it firsthand. The Bible challenges you to taste and see that I'm good, and I've tasted. He's good.
Yeah, it's awesome. And our first full day here, um, your wife and daughter were here, and we were walking down the trail. I don't remember where we were going, and we passed you guys, and you know immediately you could kind of see there's something special there, and there's kind of a glow on your face, being able to be with your wife and daughter. I mean, is that what is really motivating you to continue down this journey, is understanding the importance of that family?
Yes, sir. Of course. Just seeing them happy is my motivation. I had a father that was always in the picture, and I just want to do that. I want to be the husband that God intended me to be, and to be the father that my little girl needs me to. And even though I've been gone for so long that to my little daughter, it seems like I haven't been gone. She's a daddy's girl, and she doesn't deserve a addict for a father.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I just want to make them happy and keep pushing through.
Yeah. Want to talk a little bit about just your battle with addiction in general. it's not something that happened overnight. So you said you first started using when you were
Around 13.
13,
Yeah.
um, which I'm sure a lot of people are like, oh wow, but honestly, like that's not that rare, you know. Um, so what what was it that kind of led you down that path? Um, and you know, how tough was it? You know, you went to prison for 2 years. Um, just kind of that whole battle. If you can kind of walk me through that.
Curiosity at first. Everybody was doing it, and the first thing I did was smoke weed. So it didn't start as a addiction, but going through middle school and high school, then it became more relevant throughout the crowd that everybody was smoking, and that's just how it started. And what really led me into the addiction was whenever they started the K2, the synthetic marijuana. So to pass a drug test, I'm fresh out of high school. I started to smoke the synthetic weed, and that thing is like it's worse than heroin or crack. I immediately started to feel the withdrawal effects. Um, I'd be going to the pawn shop every day to pawn my TV. I'd get it back. I'd sell some of the K2 that I had enough to get my TV back, and it was just a constant struggle. And I got on probation 2017, 2018, and whenever I had to put down, smoking pot and K2, they drug test you. I picked up the bottle and started drinking. I was able to get away with it at first because I was able to control it. I already knew that I had to get a drug test at 4 or 5, so I'd be able to go to work, kind of, get sober, drink water, and get it out of my system. But sooner or later, I just stopped caring. I just kept on drinking and drinking and drinking. And, it's not to blame the court or anything, but they gave me a lot of chances,
Mm.
a lot of chances, and I just didn't care. And that led me to incarceration. Just not caring, thinking that I'm unique, that I could get away with it,
Right.
that I was sly.
Right. It wasn't going to happen to you.
Yeah, I couldn't,
Yeah.
but.
Yeah. So what, I mean, how much of a slap in the gut, punch in the gut was that when you found out you were going to be going away for 2 years?
Well, on the way to court, I already had the feeling. I'd go in and talk to my PO, and they're like, "Well, you may get incarcerated, you may not." And that's whenever I, knew. And going to court, I start. I'm on the radio. I listen to oldies rock. So I have it on 92.5 here, and they're playing "Another One Bites the Dust." And then I go to another rock station, and it goes to another one bites the dust, and I said, "Oh my God!" And I knew it. I called my mom, and she said, "No, we've been praying for you. You're not going. You're not going." And I pulled up. They have some sheriffs there, some constables, and my automatic responses to run. And first thing I do, I go towards the gas station, walking, and I grab some beer. And my wife calls me, "Hey, if you don't do this, then I'm not gonna ride it with you." So I had to come back, and I got put in cuffs.
Yeah. And then you said once you got out, um, dealing with passing your father, and end up going right back into it, which is what led you here to the Dream Center. I mean, how tough? I mean, at some point you're, again, you get out, you think you can kind of do this on your own. You come here kicking and screaming. Um, you know, you said your mom was praying for you, so obviously there's, you know, throughout your life, I'm guessing, the Lord was a presence throughout your
Right,
life.
right. I was born in a Christian household. I've always been part of a worship team or a youth band, and good boy, just led astray and
Yeah,
curious.
yeah. So you get here, faith-based recovery center, but you didn't buy into the program right
Oh
away.
no, man, I was bucking hard.
Yeah.
I was
So
bucking hard.
tell me about, um, I think you said it took you about 2 months or so to actually buy in and say, all right, I
Yeah.
can't do this on my own. So kind of tell me about those first 2 months. I mean, how tough were they? Was there any point where you're thinking, I'm just going to walk out of here?
Yeah, of course, man. My first initial thought was, man, I just got out. I can go back in and I can finish my time out. Just having a institutionalized mindset. And now being here for 11 months, going on a year. It's just ridiculous to think that you want to put yourself in that kind of environment. Hostility and being away from your kids, your family. But when I first got here, I didn't care. I wanted to still do things my way. I didn't want to surrender. But the more I fought it, the more I got in trouble, and I realized that you just need to do this. You need to grow up. You know, a boy does what he wants to do. A man does what he has to do.
Yeah.
And I just started praying, praying and praying and praying, and I realized that I wanted to be that man. I wanted to be a family man, something that I've always wanted to be, and just gave it to God.
Yeah.
Gave it to God. My attitude started to change, and started to get confidence back. Have a positive mindset that I could do this.
Yeah. Were you angry at God when you first got here?
No,
Never.
no, no. I was not angry because I knew that everything that I'd done, was on me. Nobody.
Yeah.
My father always told me that, Jimmy, your worst enemy is you.
Yeah.
You put yourself in circumstances, and I won't be able to help you.
Oh,
You know.
and I think that's a big step in your recovery, because a lot of times um, you want to blame other people. You want to blame God. You want to blame the people who got you started going down that path. You want to blame everybody, but it seemed like you were man enough to kind of accept that responsibility and realize, like, there's nobody to blame here except the guy in the mirror.
Except myself, yeah. I did it, what I
Yeah.
mean? I put myself there. My best thinking and actions have got me into institutions and facilities and overdose.
Yeah.
So it's time to do something different.
Yeah. So once you got, kind of accepted the program for what it was after those 2 months, um, how was that the growth that led you to um, your wife coming back into your life and seeing a changed man and being willing to give you another shot? What was that growth like leading up to that moment?
Well, it was a little bit hard, but our pastor Mike Connor, he told us to faith it till you make it. What I mean? And I had to just start to act the part. I had to start reading the Bible, start to journal, and really start to put goals into to a place, small goals, not big ones, because whenever you put a big goal in front of you, and you don't reach it, you're gonna lose hope, and you know you're not gonna get the result that you want. So just start making small goals. I started to get into the gym, and at that, my confidence started to get back, my attitude started to get right, and what I was reading in the Word started to affect me. I started to, you know, put myself in those verses and put it in my heart. And I started to take heed of God's promises, and that's what really, really led me. You know, um, in Psalms it says in 119, in my suffering, you gave me your word, your promise preserves my life, and I've gotten that. God gave me a promise, and I got that restoration. I just had to keep on holding on to it and pray for it. It didn't happen overnight. I wanted it done in Jimmy's time and how I wanted it, but God has a funny way of doing things His way.
Yeah.
But it's for the better.
Yeah. His timing and our timing are rarely in line. we want it to happen yesterday, or he pulls the reins back and say, you're not quite ready for that today. Um, the the support system that's established here at the Dream Center, um, how important has that been in your recovery
Oh, very,
journey?
very, very, very. I'd like to give a shout out to Miss Margaret James. She has a great impact here. She's a counselor, and she's been like a mom here to all the guys. Personally, she deals with me and my wife, and if she wouldn't be here, a lot of the guys would leave. I would leave. She's been there to comfort, nurture, and really, get that bed root out. Really take care of these guys here.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
it's awesome. It's awesome that we have support from people outside that are willing to come in and just give their time to help.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that really is so important. Um, is having that support system established, knowing that people care, knowing that people love you. Um, I know my mom was actually an addictions counselor. It was her second career, because my sister was an addict and unfortunately lost that battle with an overdose last February.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And my stepdad was an alcoholic as well, so that's what kind of led her down the road to get into being a counselor and working with people, because she saw what that lifestyle can do, um, to literally destroy you know families and lives. So I think that's one of the things that really draw Sandy and I to this place. When we got here last September, it it was almost a fluke. We were supposed to be volunteering up in Lake Charles and Sulphur after the hurricane. Our original plan was to come here and drive back and forth, and that's not a short drive, and especially not a short drive in this thing. Um, so we pulled in, and it was like, you know, we were we kind of came to the conclusion that we're going to stay here one night and find a spot closer to you know ground zero of where we were supposed to be helping at. And we we first pulled in. There was an intern here at the time, Donnie. I don't know if he was here when you first got here in January, if he's gone by that point. He helped us get set up, and then he started telling me his story. And then Pastor Mike came up and started telling me the story, and it's kind of like, um, this light bulb went off and said, "All right, Lord, I know why you put us here." Um, so the next day, and Sandy and I were actually kind of at each other's throats coming into here, because we're both realizing that we're going further and further away from where we wanted to help, and like it didn't make a whole lot of sense. um, so we went to devotions next day, and afterwards we pulled Pastor Mike and Vilma aside and said, "Hey, you got stuff for us to do here a couple days, because we'll stay here, and then we'll go into Lake Charles and Sulphur." And just the method that they use here is really what drew me in. Getting you guys to do the food pantries and the outreach and giving back. Um, because let's face it, addiction is a very selfish disease.
Right. Right.
Very,
Right.
very few addicts are thinking of anyone other than themselves. And I think, you know, that's one of the things that, you know, has been instilled in me as a young man, is to constantly be giving back. So that really hit a chord with me. So, when you guys are doing the outreaches and that sort of stuff, um, what does that mean to you guys to be out there? And again, there's some irony in this, because a lot of you guys could probably use the help
Yeah.
that the people who are coming through that line are getting, right? So it's like, you know, even those who are in need are giving. So what does that do for you in that moment?
Man, the pantries that we have here is actually something to look forward to. I used to work in the office, and you're able to build relationships with these people. You know, and just as we're hurt and we're in need, so are they. And just talking to them, hearing their life stories, or what they're going through. They come in here, and they're having, some of them have a bad day, maybe going through a death, and they come in, they get their food, but at the end of the day, they come and get prayer too.
Yeah.
It's just being the hand to feet for Jesus. And like you were talking about, we isolate and we're selfish whenever we're in our addiction, and now we're able to give back, and it does something for me. It really does, because I've always just been Jimmy, and just give me more, or I want this, I want that, but you're able to get out of self and do something different, really make a difference whenever you're able to see a car and they got 3 kids and, they're low income and they're happy. Some of them come with tears, because they don't have nothing in their fridge and we're able to give them something,
Right.
and it's awesome. It's really great.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. And I love after they get their food, the sign there that says, if you need prayer, stop here, Um, and when we saw that last year, again, it was like, this is something special, it's something special. We can feed your body and we can also feed your soul,
Spirit, yeah.
and obviously, you know, the, the prayer part is optional. Um, but I think just the fact that it's there as an opportunity, is huge. You're just planting that seed, and
Right,
maybe
right.
somebody goes through that line and passes that prayer sign, 3, 4 times, and then on the fifth time they're like, you know what, I got to stop here. I think that's huge, and I see, um, all of you guys on outreach days. Um, there's a little extra spring in your step, we noticed that last year when we were here. We were fortunate to be here on a Saturday and do an outreach. We've been able to do 2 outreaches with you guys since we've been here so far, and it's you guys know you got work to do, so it's like, let's get out here, let's get the tents up, let's get the tables out, get the stuff off the truck. um, but you're all kind of joking with each other, you're having fun, and like I said, there's just an extra, you know spring in your step. I mean, are there, leading up to outreach, like, are there conversations amongst you guys, is like how much you're looking forward to it, or it's just kind of known?
It's just kind of known, we have an outreach and we need to get out there. We start probably in our prayer walk and we start to pray whenever we finish our prayer walk, that God may give us spirit of thanksgiving and that we may be able to show His glory, that His shine lights through us and that we may be able to, just give Him a little bit of that love that He has.
Yeah.
And we just go out there and try the best that we can, just put a smile on, and you're able to, like I was saying, just get out of self no matter what you're going through. You see somebody else smile, it's going to come back to you.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, you just you brought up prayer walk, and I'm glad you did, because it's something I wanted to talk about. So every morning, you guys do a prayer walk, 30 minutes or so,
30
give or
minutes,
take.
yeah.
Um, tell me a little bit about that, and then you know tell me what it means to you to start your day like that.
Prayer walk is personally, I really need it. That's what I call my me time with God. That's where I'm able to pray, get out of my head and, seek guidance, seek counsel, and I'm able to prep for the day. I'm able to meditate and read my scriptures and, just prepare myself for that day. At first, I didn't like it. I'm like, what are we doing? We're just walking. You know what I mean? But then you start getting into the habit and start, talking with God and, seeking you shall find. You know what I mean? And I love it. It's really really good. Uh, Kind of like a secret time with God. It's just your personal time that you're able to speak with Him and just prep yourself, get ready.
Yeah, yeah, and I can relate to that because you know obviously I walk the dog a lot. Um, did that ever since he was a pup, and it's always been you know my time with the Lord as well, which is why I enjoy going out there with him in the morning. Um, and even today, um, breakfast a little later, and I still went out early so that he could get some extra steps in to keep him young. But so I can definitely relate to that, and I think it's important, and you know it's it's really special to see all you guys, you know, doing that walk, and you can see that you're in conversation with the Lord. You can see that you know, you're in meditation. Um, so I think that's a big part, um, for you guys. I mean, I think that's very important. to be able to get out there and do that. And it gets you moving a little bit in the morning,
Yeah.
So, and then after prayer walk, you guys do, I don't know the official title of it though, but like a little scripture exchange, that some guys participate in, some guys don't. It's kind of an optional thing. But what's that do for you to just kind of before breakfast, everybody gets together and just kind of shoot some scriptures at each other.
It gives you a good word. Not everybody participates, but sometimes, we just need to listen. And if you listen to somebody, maybe what you need, you may be going through something, and a scripture may tug at your heart, so it's pretty cool. We're able to kind of like not battle, but kind of throw out scriptures, and somebody else goes and it's
cool. So, anything that we didn't cover that you want to talk about before I get to my final question?
Oh, no, not really.
Okay. So, as you know, the subtitle of the podcast is Many Little People in Many Little Places, which comes from the opening lyrics of a song which go, when many little people in many little places do many little things, then the whole world changes. So, what's one of the little things that Jimmy does on a daily basis that makes the world a little bit better place?
I love to make people smile. If I'm able to, crack a joke with them or make them laugh, then it makes me happy. Some people are going through something, and you just may tell them something that may get them out themselves for that little moment and give them just to be happy. A little bit of joy.
Yeah, and like you said, you never know what someone else is going through. So that little smile can definitely be a big deal. So I love that answer. So Jimmy, I appreciate you taking the time. I know you guys have a pretty rigid curriculum here, so to carve out 30 minutes and sit down and have this talk is, I know it might not have been as easy as some people think. So I appreciate you taking the time. Look forward to the rest of our time here with you. And I just, wish you the best in this recovery journey. I know you got a little girl that's pretty anxious to see her daddy in a couple months every day, not just once or twice a week, however it works out now. So for folks out there listening, be sure to check out my blogs and other podcasts at danclouser.com. Jimmy, thanks again for taking the time.